Hey, MegaJeff back again. Look at another 5 albums that are turning 10 years old this year. And some of these you really look at and you're like, wow, I remember buying that. Doesn't feel like 10 years ago, but sure enough it was. So these are just albums that came out in 2015 that I happen to own on vinyl in my collection that I am sometimes shocked to know that they're that old. Book of Souls by Iron Maiden. This 2015 release that I picked up in 2017 when I first got back into buying vinyl. One of my friends said this album sounds way different on vinyl than it did on CD, so I had to go out and experience that. Whether or not my system can tell the difference, I'm not sure. I've never done a year comparison, listen to them side by side to see if I can hear the difference. But anyway, it was one of the things when I first got back into vinyl that I ran out to buy. And this was, Iron Maiden had been gone for like 5 years, so it was kind of like finally a return. I'm not a long time, but been quite a while since the previous album, aside from the fact that they release live albums all the time. So anyway, yeah, and so there you go. That one is 10 years old. The Key by Operation Mindcrime. Now, if you were around back in the day, you know that there was an issue. This is, of course, Geoff Tate's new band. Now, in 2013, there was a battle for the name. And in 2013, Queensryche released a brand new album with a brand new singer. Geoff Tate released a brand new album, also called Queensryche, with a brand new band. So you have 2 albums. I think both of them are good. I think the Geoff Tate one is good. It's got an all-star cast, has all kinds of performers on there. Well, anyway, that was when there was all this, I guess, back and forth litigation with the name. And eventually the band got the name and Geoff Tate lost the name. So he reformed or put the band out the next album in 2015 under Operation Mindcrime. So that became the band name. They released 3 albums. This was their first. The second one had never been on vinyl, and then I have the third one on vinyl, so it's weird that they only released the first and third. And anyway, and again, it's got all kinds of different people in here. I don't want to, if you're not familiar with it, it's you can see the band there. But if you're not familiar with this material, it's got Geoff Tate, it's got Kelly Gray, of course he was in Queensryche for a while. Dave Ellison. On the previous one, they had all kinds of people, like this has Simon Wright on drums. He was on the previous one, I believe. But they also had like Rudy Sarzo and some other people on the Queensryche album. Anyway, it's to me, this reminds me of the latter couple Queensryche albums. It's kind of not a lot of energy, kind of slow and plodding, and their storyline and stuff. But I thought the Queensryche album that he put out in 2013 was quite a bit better than this, more memorable to me than this one. So anyway, but that's what he did, and like I said, he did a couple after that. But then, of course, Queensryche did come out with their own album in 2015. So in 2013, 2 Queensryche albums, 2 different bands. 2015, same thing, but the band names changed. So, and again, another great album with the new Todd La Torre on vocals, and they've been going strong ever since. So great album. I had a chance way back shortly after this came out. A friend of mine was getting rid of some of his vinyl records, and he had the box set of this and was going to sell me, but then at some point he couldn't find it or something, so I ended up having to buy the regular release there. But great stuff. Big Queensryche fan. And it figures, so yeah, they're coming to town, playing at the beach, which is usually a free gig because it's just a big stage at the beach. I play on the big stages at the beach with my band, so it's typically just oceanfront entertainment. It's free, and they are coming here to play on July 30th, and I will be in DC on a business trip, and I cannot believe it. I want to cancel the business trip, but anyway. All right, moving on. The Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock. This was an interesting story. I guess it's interesting. I don't know exactly the story. I mean, why's behind it. In 2011, Michael Schenker released an album called Temple of Rock. Had Michael Voss on vocals. He's done a lot of work with Michael engineering. Michael Voss is the singer for, has done lots of vocals for lots of different bands that I've got in my collection. Got a smooth, melodic vocal style. Mad Max is his main band. He's been in since the 80s. They've still put out stuff. Michael Voss, great vocalist. And so he sings on here. And then they put out in 2012, they put out a live album. So that was called Temple of Rock. Michael Schenker, Temple of Rock. Well, then in 2013, he puts out Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock as a band name. And then this is the 2015 second release. They did 2 albums under that name and a live album. 2 different live albums, I guess, under Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock. This has Doogie White on vocals on the band Temple of Rock. So not Michael Voss, even though he does do engineering and background vocals and stuff like that. So interesting, you know, I don't know, between 2011 and 2015, 16 or so, Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock was in play. And then, of course, after that, we've seen other Michael Schenker Fest and bringing back the old singers, and he's done all kinds of stuff. So, and some solo stuff in there too. But this was kind of cool. So again, it's sort of like a new rendition of Michael Schenker, and that is the second. The first album, Bridge the Gap, is hard to find on vinyl for me, at least. Anyway, all right, and then the last one we're going to look at is One Love Revolution by Pillar. Pillar is a alt rock, new metal. Their first album was very rap rockish, very Linkin Parkish. They started in '99. They got signed to a minor label in 2000 and started. That's when I discovered them, was with their second album, Above, in 2000. And from 2000 all the way through 2009, they were a staple in my house. We loved them. The kids loved them. They had their second album, Fireproof, in 2002. I believe one or so of those songs got picked up on some, like, I don't know, wrestling or Fireproof. The song was kind of a hit in some sports arenas or something. So, and anyway, so they went on and they did a handful of albums between 2000 and 2009, and then they just kind of disappeared. And then in 2015, 6 years later, they come back with this. Now the band still does tour a little now. They play bigger festivals, overseas dates and things like that, but I don't know if there's any new music coming. This was one of their first albums to be released on vinyl, and it was just done recently, like in the past year or two, on Girder Records. So I'd love to see the previous stuff, like Fireproof, like the other albums that came after that. I'd love to see those on vinyl. I love all of that stuff. And like I said, this was like the last album, and we haven't heard anything in 10 years as far as new music. But again, I looked at their site, and they have been they play a date here and there, you know, fairly irregular, but when they can. Interestingly enough, the guitar player for this band is the nephew of the keyboard player in my former band about 10 years ago. So that was kind of neat. It was like same last names and everything, but he's like, yeah, that's my nephew down in Pillar. They were, I think, down at the time, I don't know, they were in North Carolina at one point. They also moved out to Oklahoma at one point when they first started getting recording. But anyway, that was kind of the neat connection. Never met them, never got to talk to anybody, but that's kind of a cool connection there. So that's it. Just 5 more, and we'll see where we go from here. I think there's a couple more that I can show. Just great stuff. Makes you feel old when you start looking back and thinking, wow, it's been 10 years already. But that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Rock on and rock hard.